Hello, this is a test. This is DM Tips. This is chapter 12, The Crooked House, Crooked Moon. Haven't run this yet, and I'm reading this for myself to listen to in the car. So it's a DM tip video made for myself by myself, and I might share it later. We'll see. Chapter 12, The Crooked House. There was a crooked man who lived in a crooked house. He had two crooked children, and he had a crooked spouse. He bought a crooked axe, which brought a crooked smile, and all the bodies are all stacked up in a crooked, bloody pile. Wickermore Nursery Rhyme. Sitting atop a gloomy hill and choked by the gnarled overgrowth of decades of despair is a twisted house that is known only evil. With not a single right angle in its bizarre construction, the abandoned manor is an uncanny monument to the crooked queen. Her minions infest the place, and the wicked weasel hag, Vesla Browntooth, is its primary corrupter. She twists the hag. Only with the death of this twisted hag can the horrors of the crooked house be put to an end. The crooked house stands as a haunted manifestation of Kalen's ancient power, twisted and alive with malevolent energy. It warps all who dwell within, unraveling and corrupting their very souls in preparation for sacrifice. Victims' shattered souls and suffering feed the house, which reconfigures itself after each cycle of torment, shaping anew for the next doomed inhabitants. With each renewal, the gruesome process repeats itself, an eternal vessel for the crooked queen's insatiable hunger for sacrifice. Steeped in the blood of its past, the crooked house, now called Druskenwald Manor, readies its horrors for the unlucky pair that now call this place home. The crooked queen's influence lingers, her vile energy feeding the house, and the tormented spirits within turn their gaze toward new prey. The crooked house bends and contorts into its true, twisted, ruined, and haunted form with the helpless Druskenwalds trapped inside. The crooked man, Vesla Browntooth, and the repulsive creatures within await new souls ripe for sacrifice. Characters drawn to the house by the quest hooks later in this chapter have these goals. Enter the crooked house in search of Philip and Adela Druskenwald after first meeting the crooked man. Conduct a seance to commune with the spirits of Joseph Petrini, who can point the characters to the hag in the attic. Investigate the house and face the spirits within to collect all 6 mementos from the ghosts of the slain Lockwood household. Find the secret door to the attic and use the mementos to gain access to the cauldron room. Destroy the weasel hag, Vesla Browntooth. Before running this chapter, familiarize yourself with the history of the crooked house and the tragedy that befell the Lockwoods to help improvise the spectral encounters, including the seance with Joseph Petrini. Reading through the locations of the crooked house will prepare you for the character's investigation, no matter the order they choose. This chapter is designed for level 3 characters. 70 years ago, the Lockwoods took their fateful carriage ride to Wickermore Hollow, leaving behind the crooked streets of Cyril. Eustace Lockwood believed he was bringing his family to a peaceful valley free from the city's toils, where nature would cradle them. Their new manor, perched ominously atop a hill, loomed over a quaint village. Rebuilt by local hands upon the bones of its predecessor, it was grand, yet unsettling. The builders didn't question the hidden attic that appeared in the altered architectural plans, an attic soon claimed by Vesla Browntooth, her evil familiar Filthy Jasper, and her swarm of twisted weasels. The house was built atop the ruins of an ancient locus of Kalen's primeval power, making it the ideal dwelling to corrupt and trap souls, all of which would feed the power of the Crooked Queen. And such an elaborate and crooked construction provided the hag with ample opportunity to torment its numerous inhabitants over the years. For a short time, the Lockwoods flourished. Eustace, his wife Petunia, children Sally and Arthur, and Petunia's elderly mother, Keziah, enjoyed the manor's deceptive warmth. Their servants, the Petrinis, shared in their bliss, as did their son Francis, Sally's best friend of the same age. But the joy was fleeting. Illness and nightmares crept in, the work of Vesla's vile enchantments. No medicine, not even the most skilled healers of Wickermore Village, could combat the mounting corruption. Eustace, plagued by the nightmarish visions, succumbed to madness, slaughtering his family and the Petrinis. The body of Francis was never found. Families came and went, all drawn to the village's quiet charm, yet the tale always ended in tragedy. Eventually, the cursed manor was seemingly abandoned, falling to the village when no one dared return. Yet, no matter whether the manor was occupied or not, the circular window at the highest point of the house always shone with an eerie glow during the witching hour. Mayor Wendell Somerton, blind to the horrors, gifted the estate to the Druskinvalds, a move suggested by Randall Graham, the town's scheming barber and doctor. Graham, knowing the house's sinister nature and eager to see the Druskinvalds consumed, sought to unleash the house's malice on the new residents. The bastard. Vesla commands numerous twisted weasels that live within the walls. The Cricket House itself is haunted by a plethora of specters and monsters brought to life by the bewitching power of the Crooked Queen. Vesla Browntooth is the youngest of the three hags that form the Vermintol cult. As with her sister, she is a crooked fae from the primeval times of Kalen's reign, becoming more crooked with every passing year. She delights in the vermin that earned the coven its names, particularly favoring the weasels that scurry and scrape around throughout the walls of the Crooked House. Vesla is the shortest and the meanest of the trio, with a nose that is as long and pointed as her teeth, and many other unsavory features that evoke the weasel she cherishes and commands. Her witchcraft specializes in the corruption and siphoning of mortal souls, which manifest through horrific nightmares and phantasmal visions. This power is enhanced by the horde of humanoid teeth collected by her loyal weasels and her beloved familiar, Filthy Jasper. Recently, she captured Philip and Adela Druskinvald after they settled into the manor home, and she began performing an elaborate ritual to prepare their souls for sacrifice. What she doesn't know is that the sacrificial lamb is Vesla herself, as planned by her sisters, Golub and Stunoga, as part of the long-term machinations of the Crooked Queen. Ha ha ha, for her. Filthy Jasper, a vermin familiar, Weasel, is an abominable monstrosity, weasel-like but disturbingly human in his features, with unsettling hands that mimic those of a human. Formed from Vesla Browntooth's nightmaric magic, Filthy Jasper obeys her every whim and leads the swarming weasels through the Crooked House in Wickermore Village. As wicked as his creator, Filthy Jasper revels in human suffering, particularly that of children. An eager collector of humanoid teeth for Vesla's rituals, he savors the act of tearing them from skulls with his own hands. More than weasels and hags live and lurk within the crooked house. The residents that call it home span generations, and many are among the unliving. Crooked Man. The origin of the first Crooked Man has faded into seldom repeated whispers, but his current form is the twisted spirit of Eustace Lockwood, the patriarch who slaughtered his family 70 years ago. After the bloodbath, Eustace hanged himself. Urged on by Vesla Browntooth, she crammed his broken corpse into a narrow crawl space beneath the house, snapping nearly every bone to make him fit. From that cursed night onward, his soul was bound to the crooked queen's will, his spirit as distorted as his crumpled remains. Eustace now stalks the manor as a crooked specter in a tattered suit, twisted beyond recognition. Even when not within the house, his bond to it and the queen remains unbroken. With each soul claimed by the house, the queen's power deepens in Wickermore Hollow. The crooked man's aim is to free the crooked queen from her prison and restore her reign over Druskenwald. As her loyal minion, he roams Wickermore Hollow like a shadow, siding the schemes of the Vermintol Coven and the cult of the old ways, drawing ever closer to unleashing the queen's malice. The Lockwood household. After Eustace Lockwood's bloody rampage, the spirits of his murdered household became trapped in the crooked house, where they remain to this day. While the house has claimed many souls over the years, the ghosts of the Lockwood household's 6 victims manifest more strongly than the others. Petunia Lockwood, the dour but dutiful wife of Eustace Lockwood. Petunia had been looking forward to a more agrarian community. Her true love was tending all manner of plants, especially her loved bergamot trees. She viewed the Lockwood estate as her chance to finally enjoy her husband's wealth, which was the only reason that she married him. Sally Lockwood. Sally was Eustace and Petunia's first child, but she never received much attention from her parents. Suffering from regular nightmares, Sally developed phobias and paranoias at a young age. The only time she felt safe was when she was surrounded by her dolls and other toys. On the night of the murders, Sally managed to escape the crooked house before succumbing to her wounds on the path down the hill. Her spirit eventually reincarnated into the dog, now called Shuck. Arthur Lockwood. Arthur was born in Cyril, but spent most of his short life in Wickermore Village. He was a sickly baby, but the doctors that Lockwoods hired could never discover an underlying illness. His regular wailing led to his being left in the nursery for most hours of the night. Keziah Endicott. Keziah, Petunia's elderly mother, was widowed at a young age, and she moved in with the Lockwoods. Coming from a wealthy and eccentric family, she developed many hobbies over her long life: landscape painting, taxidermy, and raising albino peafowl. Her attractive social life intrigued many strange folk from the town with a strong reverence for the old ways. Joseph Petrini. Joseph came from a long line of butlers and took the profession very seriously, so he unquestionably followed his employers to Wickermore Village. He brought his wife, son, and love of music, while the Lockwoods abandoned Flossin's faith of the silver path. Flossin's faith of the silver path. Joseph never wavered and believed that the divine would protect him in his strange new home. Gail Petrini. Gail found less joy in being a housekeeper than her husband, but she relished being a mother. She never trusted her employers and found Keziah's strange hobbies especially unsettling. Her intuition allowed her to save her son on the night of her death, sacrificing herself so that Francis survived. Francis Patini. Francis, a clever and funny child, was the precocious son of Joseph and Gail Petrini. He was best friends with Sally Lockwood and unsuccessfully tried to get the girl to go on small adventures with him despite her inherent fears. He was saved from the murderous Eustace Lockwood by his mother, but was so deeply traumatized by the experience, he became unable to speak coherently, and the memories of his former life became fragmented. He eventually became known to all in Wickermore Village as Old Rusty. The Jenkin family. The Jenkin family served as caretakers for the Druskinwalds during their stay, having long tended the homes of Wickermore's elite. 3 years ago, Mayor Somerton assigned them to the old Lockwood estate, an honor laced with dread. Like the villagers, they had heard the whispered tales of the cursed house. Nevertheless, they moved in, preparing for the Druskinwalds. Although technically renamed to the Druskinwald estate by Mayor Wendell Somerton, all of the townsfolk of Wickermore Village just call it the Crooked House. It is a monument of local lore and suspicion, so there are many reasons to investigate it. If the characters accept Philip Druskinwald's invitation to dinner after arriving in Wickermore Village, the couple will have been waiting for them for a fine meal prepared by the Jenkins. This chapter is written under the assumption that the characters followed this quest hook to visit Druskinwald Estate. They could, however, while exploring Wickermore Village, note a large number of weasels scurrying about the town, eventually seeing Filthy Jasper himself scampering off, holding a human tooth. Randall Graham, the barber surgeon, approaches the characters and tells them he has seen the creatures stealing teeth from his shop and scurrying up the hill to the Crooked House. He urges the characters to help put an end to the infestation. A trip up the hill. When the characters leave the village and head northwest toward the hill that holds Druskinwald Estate, they are approached by Old Rusty, the village groundkeeper. An old man with red-gray hair and filthy clothes scrambles towards you, his eyes darting wildly. He forces words out through labored breathing. Death, doom, pain, the crooked man, the crooked house, the crooked queen. They feed, they laugh. Every step leads to ruin. Its return, her return, disintegration, annihilation. The characters can try to calm old Rusty, but even if he's made calm, he has nothing coherent to offer the characters. Rusty, whose true identity is Francis Petrini, was just a child when the Crooked House took his family away 70 years ago, and the traumatic experience left him forever changed. Walter Jenkin, a natural, an affable, and handsome sort, Walter Jenkin, lawful, neutral, human commoner, lost his voice within weeks of arriving. No healer could explain the sudden silence. Now he communicates through writing and sign language, which his family also knows and can translate. Entering the manor makes him nervous, sensing its malice, though he never speaks of its fears. Known for his loyalty and dutifulness, Walter has an almost reverent respect for Mayor Wendell Somerton and his other former employers. In this new position, he has already become devoted to the Druskenwalds, despite having only just met them. Gilly Jenkin, lawful neutral human commoner, has known Walter since they were children, and they have loved each other just as long. She is not as devoted to the Druskenwalds as her husband. Her concerns lie more with their daughter. She was pregnant with Donnie when they first became employed by Mayor Somerton over a decade ago. She's overprotective of the girl. Gilly feels the presence of the strange forces in Wickermore Village, and she fears her daughter Donnie has some sort of strong connection to these powers. Donnie Jenkin, neutral, human, and non-combatant commoner, was born to Walter and Gilly within a couple weeks of their move to the mayoral manor to serve Mayor Somerton's family. Now 10 years old, she senses the ghosts and disturbing forces around her, knowing things a child shouldn't. Though she cannot yet control her abilities, her bond with the powers of the old ways grows. Shuck, a red-furred dog that never leaves Donnie's side. Shuck, neutral good wolf, was a stray before the Jenkins took him in. Unbeknownst to the family, Shuck is the reincarnated soul of Solly Lockwood, a victim of the Crooked House who escaped just before her death. Shuck guards Donnie fiercely. If any of the characters are evil, or if they use supernatural abilities that are in any way associated with the Crooked Queen, Shuck growls at them if they get anywhere near Donnie. Wisp, the cat's gray cat, the estate's gray cat. Wisp has earned Walter's affection, but terrifies Donnie. The cat is no ordinary feline. It is a shape-shifted Ketgrin, a fae in service to Vesla Browntooth. Wisp stole Walter's voice and torments Donnie by speaking to her when they are alone. Shuck loathes Wisp, sensing his true nature, and stays close to protect Donnie from the lurking evil. If the Ketgrin's true form is exposed and slain, Walter's ability to speak is restored. Okay, so I missed a couple NPCs and started reading the second page here on this layout. If the characters attempt to learn more about the Crooked House and its history, either now or at some other point when they're in Wickermore Village, they don't get far. Most of the superstitious locals are so terrified of bringing evil upon themselves, they will not even speak of it out loud. Even the newcomers who pride themselves on reason dismiss talk of cursed houses as mere fairy tales, unwilling to believe in the supernatural so close to home. They claim that while some of the families there have been bad luck, those same families may merely have been treating the place as a temporary vacation home before moving away. They generally believe or hope that the Crooked House is just a house, no matter how spooky its name and reputation are. The most sinister members, the followers of the old ways, know the true history and encourage the notion that the house is perfectly safe. Ha ha ha. They need the house to feed on as many spirits as possible to quicken the return of the Crooked Queen. For this first practice, I'm going to stop here. I might add some more later. I might patch this together with another one, or I might leave it this way and continue in a separate one.